probably do a bit more of a formal introduction. So, DR, you want to kick it off?
Sure. I'm Dave Roberts, original member of Straight No Chaser. Now work on the business side of things, and I'm broadcasting from Chicago.
I'm Segi Isho. I am in Straight No Chaser. I'm at my house here in Michigan and really excited to dive into this next wine.
All right. Lori, you guys want to jump in?
Oh, yeah. Lori and Tink, owners of Falcor Winery here in Napa, California.
Awesome. And I am David Britz, manager of Straight No Chaser, friend of these guys and friend of Lori and Tink's at Falcor. And we have officially been dubbed the Wine Bros, and we are starting a video series of virtual wine tastings with some of our favorite friends and wines as a way to make wine more accessible. So that's what we're doing. And we got to earlier taste the wonderful Graciano that Falcor has. Mm-hmm. And now we are moving into the Cab Franc, which we're super excited to try. So before we get into that, Laura, you want to tell us a little bit about the wine and the production? And
yeah, I do. Yeah, so what we'll be drinking next, y'all, 2014 Cabernet Franc, Napa Valley. So we actually secured this fruit from Atlas Peak. It's been super, super hard to find. I love that last chug.
It's not ready to go to waste.
No way. So it's been super challenging over the last few years to find a really good standalone Cab Franc, because unfortunately a lot of growers were pulling up all the good Cab Franc and planting Cab because Cab's always been king in Napa and they could get a premium price for it. Unfortunately for them, that's kind of come back to bite them a little bit in the last few years with Cab prices, grape prices tanking a little bit. Good for us, not for them. But it's left us now with hardly any good standalone A+ Cab Franc. So what Tink and I did a few years ago is we purchased more land by our home, and we have planted A+ Cab Franc in our Soaring Hawk vineyard. So we'll be producing A+ Cab Franc starting this year and hopefully full production next year or the year after. So that's exciting. So we don't have to source it anymore. But until then, Cab Franc has kind of always been a blending wine. This is not a blending wine. I mean, it'd be a great blending wine, but it's definitely a standalone Cab Franc. So we're only producing, 300 or so cases of this one as well. I think around 330. And we are putting a little Cab in it, every now and then, depending on the year, a little bit of Petit Verdot as well. So that just will round it out a little bit. Cab Franc is a pretty strong wine. It's a great Cab alternative. So, but it's one of my favorite wines that we make. Hard to find a good Cab.
This wine, your wine in particular, this Cab Franc, is definitely one of my favorites of this varietal. And when we met the first time for my birthday when we were out there, this is one that we walked away with several bottles. So I'm excited.
So well, our 2012 Cab Franc actually got us 3 years in a row Best of Class and Double Gold at LA International. So I was told by some of the people down there that actually host that they didn't know if anyone had ever won 3 years in a row Best of Class and Double Gold. So what we were doing is, beautiful color, huh? We were actually competing against all the big guys, not in the small producer category, because I really wanted to prove, not just to us, but to everyone out there, that our wines can stand up to some of the most well-known and quote higher end wineries in Napa, and we proved it. So super happy about that. That was a great day to celebrate, 3 years in a row, but super happy about that. I'm glad it's one of your favorites. This is one of mine. It's a beautiful wine.
I mean, just on the nose, it's super earthy. Like I'm getting a lot of earthy, a lot of dirt, and a lot of leather and like hide.
Yes.
Like cowhide, like.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost floral though. Like that earthiness has some almost like floral notes to it.
Yeah, isn't it fun? All the things you can get just off the nose. And the more you swirl it, so I did mine. David did a Corbin. We actually had our aerator that we put it through. So, instead of decanting it, because it's going to be much easier for me to take this home and drink it when we're done with this,
Right.
not decant it, and I just put a cork in it. But those are great to have.
Could I see that bottle again? Thank you.
I opened this bottle probably 10 till the hour, and then we didn't actually get started until about 20 after. So I'd opened this bottle at least 30 minutes before we, now it's been about an hour since I opened it. And it's really starting to open up real nice. Yep.
It's, when Fernando and I are doing our blending on these wines, we are actually letting them sit for 30 minutes and then for an hour. Once we get our blend done, what we think is our favorite blend, and then we'll do, that, come back and revisit it. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about our wines is that we still do everything manually with our punch downs. I know I watched one of your episodes where y'all were talking about tannins, and some wines you're like, wow, that's super tannic.
Yeah.
Some of that will come from if someone is using machinery to do their punch downs, and you've got they're actually punching down the seeds, that bitterness will seep out because the tannins are in the seeds, and it comes from the seeds and the stems and the actual grapes. So if you're doing it by hand, you can actually see how it's fermenting. So it's backbreaking work, but we can tell, oh, this is a hot spot, this is cold over here, let's evenly do it. But if you're using metal and you're bruising those seeds and punching them down, that's going to make the wine kind of bitter. So I tell people, they're like, oh yeah, I've tasted this wine, it's kind of bitter. Well, there's a possibility that may be why,
I've got some friends that are also not fans of stems and seeds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you'll be, once y'all are lucky because y'all know a lot of wineries and winery owners, and y'all have been really blessed to just be able to go out and taste some phenomenal wines. But it's like a great education course for y'all too, because you're going, okay, wow, I'm seeing where, someone like Falcor, is just now pouring a 14 Cab Franc, but opposed, when the last time I was in the Valley and I tasted someone that was a 2017 Cab Franc, and you can tell the difference that the aging in the bottle makes. Wine is living and breathing and it's aging. So it's great that you're able to crack it open now. If it was a 17, we wouldn't be doing, well, I wouldn't be doing it. Y'all might be doing it with somebody else, but not us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the great thing is that this is
2013. Sorry, 2013. Yeah.
This is ready to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing, I was looking at the alcohol on it. It's 15 too, so it's got a little punch to it. And but there's no burn.
No. And actually, I was going to say that, Britt. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it does finish really smooth. It lingers a little bit on the palate, but then it's just smooth, start to finish.
Well, that's what, when Fernando and I, when we're doing our blendings, we have it's a very simple method. We sit down let's say we're blending this wine. We take the prior year or one that we just really loved, and we get that same formula and we blend it with the current year. Okay. And then we see if we like that one, and then we see, okay, can we, make it better? And then, so we'll get number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay. We'll leave it alone for a while, then we'll come back, and then we'll go, let's do number 1, number 2, number 3 again. Do we like it number 1 as much? And we just keep doing that for weeks and weeks on end until we get to a point where let's blind taste it. If number 1 is still number 1, we're done. If not, then we start all over from scratch, and it's like super stressful at that point, because you got to understand, as the weeks go by, the wine is changing in the barrel as well. So we got to sit and kind of extrapolate, okay, this is how it tastes now. What's it going to taste like in 5 years after it's bottled? It's not just what it tastes like now.
Yeah.
You're just going to go through bottle shock, and then it's going to level out, and then, the wine fairies will come back and make it all magical and perfect again. So you just got to, that's how it goes. But everyone thinks blending is fun. It's fun if you don't have all the money invested. If y'all just come in and do a blending tasting with me, you'll be like, oh, Miss Great, Lori. But you know, you don't have all this, you know, it's not online.
I'm so glad you went through that, because I think a lot of people probably don't understand that process, and to hear you kind of go through it and be like, yeah, you know what, that does sound super stressful.
What it is. I mean, you know, it is. I mean, we do enjoy it. I mean, you know, it's apparent that we just love what we do. I mean, there's nothing else in the world I want to be doing, but we do take it very seriously here. I mean, I think everybody can tell we put a lot of love into every bottle. So we really care that what we put out, we consider to be a Falcor quality wine.
Yeah. It's probably not all that different from Yonin sitting in the back of a theater mixing the 9 of our vocals, you know.
Absolutely.
You turn a little bit of this vocal up, it might alter the sound to not have that roundness or fullness, and it might throw it off a little bit. So I can definitely understand the stress and frustration that goes into it. But I will say that the one good thing and bad thing about both of these wines we've tasted is that, like both of them have said, like, it's, you know, this is 15.2 alcohol, so it's a strong and no burn, so you could polish this bottle off real fast and not even really know. So that's the good and bad thing, because you could just be crushing these, and then by the time you know it, you're like 3 bottles deep, and you're like, oh no.
That's right.
I fully intend to polish these bottles off. I'm just putting that out there right now.
Well, I think we all do.
I think know where to go.
I think that's a given. And that's what we want to do. I think y'all, I think at this point have tried every one of the wines that we make, and we make sure none of them are overly tannic. It's not our style. We're okay with if other people want to do it, that's great. And you know, when people come in and tell me they sort of like that 90s style, you know, cab, they'll just kind of knock you off your bar stool. I'm like, you know, this may not be the place for you. You know, there may be another winery that you're welcome to taste, but I'm just thinking that's not what we're producing. So we want to, you know, give them a realistic expectation, but this is just what suits our palate, and thankfully suits our clients' palates. And we're always looking to get more clients, and hopefully the new ones that come in will suit theirs as well. But you got 15 wines to choose from, like, you know, and David talked about it earlier. You had to find one that he didn't like, and so we always want to continue on that path.
Yeah, it's a good point though about not making it too tannic, because I feel like Cab Franc is a varietal that a lot of people are kind of intimidated by, because generally they're really, really tannic, and like, if you don't really enjoy that feeling of having the moisture just ripped out of your mouth and the super dryness, like chewing on chalk, then you're probably not going to drink a Cab Franc. But what you've done with this one is a little more nuanced, right? It's a little more elegant and delicate compared to, you know, most Cab Francs you're going to find out there.
That's a great way of putting it. But God, all those people out there missing out on Cab Franc. I mean, I just think it's just one of the, you know, wonders of the world. It's such a fabulous wine, and it pairs with so many unique things. And I mean, we all, you know, all of us in this group, I know, love our cabs, and I love our cabs too. But to me, this just has a little bit of something extra that the cab doesn't have. That just brings something to the table, right?
Yeah, it's got, you know, for me, you know, I like that it's you know, relatively tannin free, and you know, I don't mind tannins, but you know, we've had some things you know, recently that were super tannic, and you know, you're like, I feel like I've been eating a cotton ball. And,
that's right, you do.
And you know, there's a time and place for that, and there's also great food pairings with that.
Yes, right.
You know, I think for me specifically, having this right now without food, you know, makes me really even appreciate this more. I'm getting the sort of baking spices and the really unique flavors that are in here, and that's, you know, it's great to be able to explore that sort of unobstructed, if you will.
And I agree, David, because we have toyed with the idea of, you know, always pairing our wines with food. But to me, I want you to be able to sit down and drink every one of our wines without food and enjoy it. Knowing in the back of my mind, I've got a million recipes, you know, that this will go with if y'all want them. So, but other than that, you're right. You ought to be able to really sit and drink a cab, right? And just enjoy that cab, or drink a Cab Franc and enjoy that Cab Franc. You know, knowing that, oh gosh, yeah, this would go great with, but it also just goes great sitting here in front of my fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to overthink it. You know,
Yeah,
it's what a constant theme in all of our episodes so far is talking about how wine is art, right? So
yes.
you and Fernando are the artists creating this art in this bottle, and it needs to be able to stand on its own without a pasta or without a steak or without whatever. Like, you need to just be able to sit and drink it first and foremost and appreciate it that way. Like, I almost enjoy drinking some of these bigger wines without food, just so you can really get all of that nuance in there. And, you know, but there's also the great things that happen when you do pair it. You have all those different flavors that come out that wouldn't have come out otherwise.
Right.
So
that's right. It changes.
Don't overthink it. If you're eating,
the cool
drink
thing
it.
is that now you've got a whole other set of flavors. So now you can associate the non-food flavors with the food flavors, and look at it. You just doubled your reason, I guess, for drinking this wine.
Hey, 2 times the reason to drink any wine is a great reason to drink any wine.
Right? I couldn't
And we've
agree.
also talked a lot about how you know, I mean, one of my favorite things about wine is just that, the interaction, you know, as you're drinking it, you know, the flavors and aromas kind of change, and you're getting subtle notes and different things here and there. But then once you introduce food as well, you're getting a whole different experience, not just from the wine, but from the food too. So, Lori, what would you eat with this?
Oh gosh, well, I tell you what I'm gonna eat with it tonight. We're doing some beef bourguignon. So
Nice.
yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do with it tonight. Because
Tink, are you cooking?
we are actually picking up from one of our favorite restaurants here in town, Angel.
Yeah.
I normally cook it, but tonight we're supporting our local restaurants by ordering food out.
Yeah, we're supporting our local restaurants. So
I'm supporting one of my favorite local spots, Small Cheval, Au Cheval. We're doing burgers tonight, not from Au Cheval, but that's why I'm doing a shirt, and I can't wait to have these burgers with these.
This will go great with it. This will go great with it. You know, it also, think about if you have like a beautiful Wagyu steak. I tell you what, it goes great with. Tink makes the best roast beef that I have ever had. He makes this rich sauce with it, like very, very rich sauce that goes with it, kind of almost like a beef bourguignon sauce. So it will go great with richer sauces. Think about hearty stews. Think about like a great elk stew, you know, something like that. As much as I'd like to, we have vegetarians, and as much as I appreciate, you know, that aspect of things, some wines like this, it's just kind of hard for me to come up with something vegetarian to pair it with. If anyone out there is a vegetarian and y'all got a great recipe for it, please email me at sales@falcorwines.com, because I would love to be able to put out more vegetarian options on it. But this is unfortunately probably, for the most part, just a really good hearty beef stew kind of a wine.
Mm-hmm.
So you've brought up elk and alligator. Where are you shopping?
I'm going to tell you where I was shopping. So there's a great place in Louisiana that will overnight turtle, fresh alligator, real andouille sausage. So I also do the Graciano that we did in the earlier segment with my chicken and sausage jambalaya. And so they will overnight all of that to you. Boudin, all of that. A good friend of mine has a processing company, fish processing company in Alaska, and he is a hunter. So that's where we get our elk from. And
And our colossal king crab.
So we just like y'all know a lot of really cool people in the wine industry. We just happen to know a lot of good, cool people in the food industry. And I hate to say it, but y'all, you can't get grits here, okay? You can't get grits. I'm getting them from a tire store in Alabama, okay? Yes, a tire store in Alabama.
I remember you saying that, but I will say that we've started substituting some of the like Beyond Meat and Impossible meat. Now, it's not going to fool anybody, right? It's not a one-for-one trade, but if you're making a pasta, if you're making a hearty pasta sauce that you maybe would put an Italian sausage in, the Beyond Meat substitute for the spicy Italian is great in a pasta sauce.
And you know what?
So for a vegetarian option, that would be great.
And we support that. We support that 100%. You know, I grew up in Mississippi. My dad has always been a big hunter, but he didn't hunt for sport. He always hunted for food for our table. So that's how we grew up. You know, we were sustainable as much as we could be. We had the garden, we had all that. So we always tried to do everything that we could to make sure that we could put our own food on the table. And
I'm a carnivore through and through, but I'm getting to an age where if I'm going to eat a steak, it's got to be a really good one.
That's right.
I'm not just going to eat any steak.
That's right. So anyway, we support all food types here, but you know, some of these wines like this a little bit challenging. So again, everyone out there watching, if you've got a great, you know, recipe for some of our heartier wines, our Cab Francs, let us know. We'd love to promote that.
Well, you mentioned chorizo with Graciano, and just while we're talking about vegetarian options, Trader Joe's has a soy chorizo that looks, tastes, and cooks like regular chorizo. You could throw a house party, cook some chorizo, and throw it out there, and no one would have any idea.
That's great. That's perfect. And see, that's what that Graciano is just for, really fun kind of things like that you're talking about. To me, that's a fun wine to pair with fun foods. You know, your Cab Franc is a little bit more serious.
So Lori, why don't you tease what we're going to be tasting next time? Because we're going to do this again with you guys.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I would do it like in an hour if we had time. So, so what we're going to do next time is we're going to be doing our 2019 Rosé, which I know, Dave, you better not let your wife drink it. We're going to be doing a 2019.
There it is.
I'm telling you, that better be there on the next segment. 2019, one of my favorite wines that we produce.
There we go.
I love it. It unfortunately is a great 10 a.m. wine. Oh my gosh. It is.
I had to go with the early drinking again.
Hey, quarantine rules are airport rules, right? Doesn't matter what time of day.
Lori, we've been talking
have a drink, have a drink.
We're quarantined. Airport rules apply. You can start early if you want to.
Hey, y'all know we don't judge here. You know that. If y'all are at my house at 7 a.m. on a Saturday and we just had we're having a good day, we're gonna be popping a cork or something. So
Lori, if we were there at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, we'd still be popping it.
Y'all know it. So what we're going to be doing is our 2019 Rosé, Grenache and Carignan, no residual sugars, super light, super crisp, hint of grapefruit, a beautiful, beautiful wine. And then we're going to be doing our new Cab series that I came up with, right? You've got our Premier Collection Cab. Is that correct?
Yes. I am a wine club member. My last shipment.
Yes. Okay. Premier Collection.
Here we go. Here it is.
Right there.
So it's
Premier Collection, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's brand new. That's a new series that I'm doing, and the best part about this one is it's kind of totally random. So it's not going to be every year. It's different AVAs, and the reason I wanted to do that is, well, there were just some great cab prices out there, so I thought I'd take advantage of that. I also thought it'd be a great way to introduce to all of our clients the different AVAs. So you could say, hey, this is an Atlas Peak, you know, this is a Diamond Mountain, this is a Howell Mountain, Pritchard Hill. You could actually take those cabs and see, wow, how different an AVA, what the difference it makes, you know, in your wine and what kind of wine it produces. So this one is Atlas Peak, the first one that we did. We've got some from Diamond Mountain and from all over. Again, they'll just be random through the years, but it's a fun collection, and I've been getting rave reviews over it. So I'm excited to share that with y'all on the next one.
Awesome. And Lori, for everybody who's going to check this out live, obviously, and then also they're going to catch it on YouTube and, you know, for many weeks and months to come, tell them where to get your awesome wines.
Okay, everyone, you can go to our website, www.falcorwines.com. Please feel free to personally email me. I do deal with all of our clients on a one-to-one basis. That's one of the things we feel is very important here at Falcor Wines. You can email me at sales@falcorwines.com. I'll respond within 24 hours, unless I've been out drinking with these guys. It may be longer, but yes, we want to make sure that when you come in here, we want you to feel at home. I want you to feel like you're in your living room with your family. And that's what we want to promote here. And if we're on the phone, which we have to social distance now, I want it to feel the same way on email. You know, we want everyone to be part of our Falcor family.
Well, Lori, it was a pleasure seeing you again. Thanks for the delicious wine. I think
I miss y'all so much.
I know. My wife says hello. Dave Wise and his wife, Keely, say hello. You're probably going to have to send us a case of that rosé because I can't fight her off this one.
I'm telling you, I know. I should have sent extra. I should got to hide it, though. We'll have to do it quick.
I'm serious. I'm going to send you my credit card number and we'll
Hey,
send it to me too, dear.
Guys coming to town, I'm going to be doing A5 Wagyu beef steaks on the grill for you.
All right.
Ooh.
A5 Wagyu.
There you go.
I'm on the first flight out.
There.
I'm literally not doing anything the rest of this week.
But you know what the best part is? David can tell you our patio is big enough. We could all be 6 feet apart.
Yes.
The whole band. We could all be 6 feet apart.
Love it.
I've been there.
I know. I love it. Hey, I miss you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thank you both for doing this. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
We love y'all. Thank
Cheers,
y'all.
you guys.
Cheers.
All right, y'all. Thanks.
To your health.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Bye, y'all.